One of the most common deficits that you run into in online video is the sound quality, the audio quality. And there are a number of ways to deal with that. The problem generally comes because people are using just the onboard microphone for their camcorder. And frankly, the sound processor in camcorders is not very good. So you've got to figure out a way to kind of up that quality a little bit. So there are several ways to do that, and for some reason over the years I have purchased various digital recorders and microphones, and so I'm going to share with you several combinations of things that might work. And so let's start with the best sound quality we can muster, and that is probably going to be this one right here. This is a Rode microphone. This is a Rode podcast microphone, but it's actually for radio as well. You're listening to it right now. It's called the Procaster, and it is plugged into this digital recorder right here, which is a Zoom H6. That's the nicest digital recorder that I have. It's what's the cost? $385, and so you're hearing the sound that you can get from a really good big microphone and a nice recorder. The problem is you don't want this, and you don't want to see this thing in your video. So that's problem. We would think that this is going to be the gold standard of sound that we're going to try to emulate or get as close to as possible. So we're going to get this out of the way now. And now we're going to go, while we're at the Zoom H6, you are listening to the onboard microphone. This thing comes with a couple different microphones. This is one of them right here. Did you hear my dog bark just a second ago? If so, that's from the good, there he is, that's from the good quality audio. So this is the onboard microphone of the Zoom H6. It comes with another one too, which is a little ball. Very nice, really good quality sound that you get out of them. But again, it's big, it's bulky. If you can figure out a way to be close enough to the microphone and yet still not have it in the picture, that would help. But then, of course, it's got the chip in it. You have to take a little SD card out and put it into your editing software. And that's how you edit the sound in. You replace the sound from the camera with this. All right, next one down is a Tascam DR40. It's $166 for this digital recorder. It's a really nice piece of equipment. I've had this one a couple years, maybe 3 or 4, but they still make them. They still sell them for $166 on Amazon. And I have this hooked up to this microphone here, and that's what you're listening to now, which is a Sony. It's a Sony ECM44 lavalier microphone, and you see how big around the cable is as it plugs into the recorder. That's because this is an XLR microphone, which brings in a lot more audio information than the next microphone that we're going to look at. Brings in a lot of information, puts it into the recorder, and the quality is usually really, really good with this. So that's what you've been listening to, the Sony ECM44 going into the Tascam. Now you are listening to the Zoom H1. I love this little guy. I've had this for a while. They still make them. They're $100 on Amazon. And you plug in, it's got an onboard microphone as does the Tascam, as well as obviously the other Zoom, but I don't like the onboard microphone with this because you get a lot of the noise from the sound from the box itself. So I use a Giant Squid omnidirectional lavalier microphone, $47. So between this and the microphone, it's $147. The sound quality is really quite excellent. So if you're starting out, this may be your perfect option. If you're using a teleprompter, then you can't really make use of this next option. Next option is a shotgun mic, which is mounted onto your camcorder and plugged in as a separate mic. Most camcorders have a little plug in them. And you notice I talked to you a minute ago about the XLR microphone versus the little one here. This has a lot less information. The same is true on your onboard microphone. My dog is going nuts upstairs. I don't know if you can hear that. But right now you're listening to a shotgun microphone, which is mounted on top of my Sony. It's an FDR-AX53 camcorder. I love the camcorder. The camcorder itself is $848 on Amazon. The microphone is a Rode, what's it called? Video Mic Pro R, $227. And it is mounted on top of the camcorder. You've been listening to it now. You can't do this with a teleprompter because the glass is in front of the microphone. You can't use your onboard microphone for the camera at all in a situation where you're using a teleprompter either, because it's behind glass. It's kind of in an enclosure and it doesn't sound right. So you're going to have to use one of these options if you're using a teleprompter. So now we're going to go next to a slightly older camcorder model that I have, which is a Canon Vixia HF-G20. They don't make this anymore. They're constantly coming up with new models. They have the G40 model now, and it's basically the same thing. This is the onboard camera that you're listening to right now. The onboard camera from the Canon, and you can see, I'm sure you can tell at this point, the difference in quality between these other things we were listening to and the quality of the Canon onboard microphone. We got one more to listen to, and that is my telephone, my iPhone 6s Plus. And this is the onboard microphone that you're listening to right now. By the way, you may see my little dog in the background lying on the sofa. He's not dead, he's just sleeping. But this is the onboard microphone of my 6s Plus iPhone. And that's a pretty good sound too. However, if it's me, I would recommend that you try one of these three. If you're just getting into video, this is the perfect combination here. The Zoom H1 and the giant squid microphone for less than $150. You're up and going, and you should have pretty good sound. So that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed that, got something useful out of it. If you've got any questions, feel free to drop me a line, leave me a comment, send me an email. I'm Andy Millard. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.